blue Protoss player representing the land of Pakistan. And also representing Berserker Esports, it is TeebuL. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels SSLD. It is Cyan. Here we go. Okay, and again, I'm very excited to see how this does pan out. Again, there were quite a number of strong Pakistani players that did actually wreak havoc in the Rest of Asia variation of ESL Masters in years past. Players like TeebuL, players like Zayn, players like Raza as well. But since then, you know, Raza has stepped away. He got married. Yeah, big shout out to Raza. He since got married. He's been focusing on IRL commitments. Zayn did spend time in South Korea this year. He was living with Australia, living with Scarlet, living with Future as well. TeebuL, on the other hand, has been practicing from back home instead, and did recently join Berserker Esports. I say recently, it was a couple of months ago, but it was a very surprising announcement. When it was announced that Berserker Esports picked up TeebuL, I was like, oh, TeebuL, he's active again, he's returning to the game, he's dedicating time practicing, improving, and the answer to all that is yes, he is. So very excited to see an informed TeebuL here against a titan like Cyan. Cyan, he's one of the stronger Protoss players in China. I would say that alongside Cyan, we have Firefly, we have Jeshi as well. It's hard to distinguish the three of them, but I do think that Cyan is one of the favorites. One of the favorites to top this group alongside Oliveira, alongside Firefly and Jeshi. We'll see if he can be stopped. We'll see if TeebuL can stop him. For now, we have standard openers, double gates from both players. 2-gate opener here from TeebuL. We have a 2-gate opener here from Cyan as well. Getting into the swing of things, for those wondering, it is typically unsafe, as this is a very curious SimCity. I love it. I love that Cyan, he basically has like a little trench here. So he has a little bit more time to react to throw down a wall if an adept shows up. Speaking of, double adept from both players. I was just about to get into the fact that we actually have very few maps where it is safe to go for a gate expand. Site Delta is one of them, where there is a ramp coming into the natural. So specifically, that's what we're looking for in PvP. If there's a ramp coming into the natural, you can go for a more economic opener. But here we have 2 gates from both players, and both adepts do miss each other. Here we go. The aggression is on TeebuL, doubling down on adept production. Cyan going for stalkers instead, as he goes for his expansion on the low ground. Probe does slip into the main base. Adepts are about to reveal themselves. Likewise, they do reveal themselves across the map, but TeebuL does wall off. Likewise, Cyan should wall off as well. And TeebuL is doubling down here. He still hasn't expanded. He's going for a Stargate follow-up instead. Likewise, Cyan throwing down a proxy pylon as well. A couple of workers did go down across the map. An adept does manage to shade into the main base though, and commits. Commits to the shade, gets a full scout, does confirm the robo here from Cyan. Again, a robo opener is very defensive. We can get really early, of course, observers just in case we need detection, immortals as well to shut down a gateway based army. And TeebuL takes the unnatural natural. Okay. Let us go. We have the unnatural natural here from TeebuL. Really awkward expansion location. Cyan, he hasn't seen it, I believe. Yep, he has not seen the expansion. He's not fully aware of what is going on. Oh, as the wall is barely closed off. Oh, and he even baits out a force field. A bit of an overreaction out of Cyan. But Cyan, in retreating, he does spot the pylon. I wonder if he has pieced together that, in fact, TeebuL has expanded. Back at him, Cyan is getting into Immortal production. It looks like he has kind of fallen for it. Immortals, they are a sign of defensive play. They are a sign here that's, of course, we are a little bit concerned as we commit to the shade. A bit of a mistake here from TeebuL. He's going to be losing every single one of these adepts. And he doesn't get anything. He doesn't kill a sentry. He forces a force field, but that is all he really does. A bit of a blunder there, but here comes the Oracle. It was a Stargate follow-up out of TeebuL, and he is going to get economic damage done. 2 workers will go down. But only 2, and that's not enough. Oh, as that's a kill on the Oracle as well 4 probes for an Oracle. At least TeebuL has been able to take an economic lead because he's been just pumping out probes, and Cyan has been a little bit wary to do so. Again, Cyan technically hasn't seen the expansion, doesn't fully know what's going on, but he is pushing out with a pretty hefty army. We have force fields, we have immortals. We are going to be committed here. Meanwhile, TeebuL is making a defensive Void Ray to deal with the robo production of Cyan. Very solid unit here in the early game. Void Rays, they're very underutilized in PvP for good reason. They don't really scale too well in the mid game, but early on, to defend against all-ins, Void Rays are ideal. We already have one in position, we have a second on the way. And we'll see if Cyan can break through. Good force fields! He takes down 3 of these Stalkers, goes straight for the Void Ray as well, but alas, the Overcharge puts in a lot of work, does keep it alive. As, we do get a little bit of latency there. Hopefully everything is okay. Hopefully everything is okay when it comes to the players and casters involved. Things are looking okay on my end, thankfully. But we will just be taking a moment here to make sure that any kind of latency does clear up. But that was a pretty big spike, and it looks like we are getting back into this momentarily. Okay. Oh, okay.
Game resumed.
We do have an admin in the lobby. I thought that they were going to be the ones to count down. I was a little bit concerned. But here we go. We do have Adepts going to be shading in towards that middle line at the same time. The main army attempts to push through. But so far, TeebuL, he is holding. He's going to be holding as the Adepts say shade into the main base. A couple more probes are going to be going down, but Cyan, he's more concerned with his own push. He takes down a Void Ray. He can take down the other. And without the Void Rays, TeebuL, he just doesn't have much to defend. The Immortals are going ham. We have the Prisoner reinforced to juggle as well. Good control here from Cyan. Good defensive blinks. GG gets called, and Cyan will take game number 1. GG. Again, TeebuL, he invested so much in harassing there when it comes to the Adept harass, the Oracle harass, but it did not pay off in the end. TeebuL, he was chronoing out probes and he was able to take an economic lead, but as he was doing that, Cyan was building up his main army, building up his Stalkers, building up his Immortals as well. And yeah, Cyan, he was able to just push out and able to break TeebuL. It was already difficult as well, just because of the natural base location. Because he was forced to take the third base as his natural, it was just a really awkward setup here to reinforce and defend, and yeah, just an awkward moment there for TeebuL, as he was taken advantage of, and Cyan takes game 1. Well played. Again, really solid play out of Cyan. Really a much more aggressive style out of TeebuL, which didn't really work out in the end. The aggression did not pay off, and he was set behind as a result. And now we're getting ready for that second game, and hopefully any kind of latency issues do clear up. Hopefully they don't really affect our next games. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. As yeah, we're just going to be sorting things out. If there are some latency issues, or if they are a little bit too bad, then we can try to switch servers to try to accommodate the players. Maybe we can try and sort something out to make sure that, again, the game itself isn't impacted. As we work towards that second game. And yeah, I don't think this game was really too indicative of TeebuL's PvP, is what I will say. The openers and the aggression from TeebuL did set him behind once they didn't really deal too much damage. I look forward to seeing more of a back and forth and more of a stable early game into the mid game. That's what I want to see between both TeebuL and Cyan. That's what I want to get out of this, but it's not up to me. It is going to be up to the players instead, as we are setting up for game number 2 on Equilibrium. on Equilibrium, and yeah, the player's just going to be preparing for that as well. There isn't really much else to say about that previous game either, outside of Cyan able to keep up with most of the aggression of his opponent, and of course build up towards his counterattack. We kind of touched on it before, but the Robo Opener, it is initially very defensive, yes, because you defend against any kind of all-in coming your way. But at the same time, once you survive the early game and once you have, a couple of immortals in your control, you can then push out across the map and punish your opponent, depending on how greedy they were. And that's what Cyan was able to accomplish. But now we're getting into our second game. Vamonos, Bobby, vamonos. And hopefully we get another ace match. Hopefully we do go all the way into game 3. That's at least what I want out of this series. I want us to go the distance, but I'm greedy like that. And we'll see. Now, I'm a fan of PvPs, Bobby, just because of how chaotic things can be, how wild things can turn out. And here we go spawning in the top left-hand corner of Equilibrium. We have the Pakistani Protoss player representing Berserker Esports down in the series, but not out. It is TeebuL. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan, aka the Gangster Camel, if you will. And if you're maybe unfamiliar with this team, with Team SSLT, the Starving Camels, then tune into WTL. What I should say is that they are a team that has been very prevalent in World Team League. And Cyan, as a result, has had a lot of success there. He's had a lot of success representing the team and actually going up against some other big names. And that's kind of been reflective here. Basically, Cyan has been put through the ringer when it comes to going up against some of the best players in the world. And that's also why I should say that Cyan, that's also I want to say that he is one of the favorite players coming into this. When I look at the players to make it out of the group stage, I look at Oliveira, I look at Cyan, look at Maxed, look at Firefly and Jeshi. He's had so much experience here, being even the underdog in these series. And I look forward to seeing them all clash against each other. And it's going to be on TeebuL to really turn the tables here, to turn this on its head and to fight back in this best of 3. And we'll see if he can pull it off. Again, ESL Masters Winter is going to be going for quite some time. It is going to be a month-long event, and of course, leading into the eventual offline event over in Atlanta. So a lot to look forward to. I know that over on the mainstream, they were, of course, promoting tickets. You can buy tickets to DreamHack Atlanta for the finals of ESL Masters Winter. And if you're local to the region, if you're local to the scene, I recommend it. As we have our openers, and interesting, a very greedy opener here out of Cyan, going for a gate expand, what looks to be a gate expand, but he goes for a Stargate behind this. Very bold move here, very bold move out of Cyan. Crazy for him to go for something like this. So typically gate expands like this, no one does this other than MaxPax. MaxPax is the player to go for these very greedy openers, just because it's so unsafe. There's no high ground here. There's no ramp coming into the natural. TeebuL, he could respond with a one base all-in of his own. Instead, he's responding with a Stargate. We have a Stargate follow-up here from TeebuL. I believe TeebuL, he hasn't scouted the main base. We have an Oracle on the way. We should be seeing an Oracle out of TeebuL as well. Part of me would love to see Phoenix Wars, but that is not what we're seeing here. As TeebuL actually has a probe out on the map as well. We'll see how much he commits. For now, shield batteries on the way, just making sure we're safe and sound. Oh my god, he's taking Cyan's gold. Like, part of me was like, is he here to like proxy? Are we going all in? What's happening? TeebuL, he's taking the gold on Cyan's half of the map. What? And he's going, okay, he's going for a Phoenix behind this. Meanwhile, we do have a Cyan going for a safety Void Ray, which makes plenty of sense because there is no expansion. We mentioned before that Void Rays, they are key here in the early game. They can defend quite well against these all-ins. As Cyan, he does scout, he does come across the goal base. Oracle gets shut down by these Phoenixes. Is going to be forced back home. And can TeebuL get away with this? Can he get away with the gold? Stalkers are coming in. Goal base is going to be cancelled. Yeah, it looks like there's just too much here, and this is a rough start for TeebuL, not gonna lie. As the Oracle at least goes down, but TeebuL, he's stuck on one base. He was planning on expanding. Forced to change his mind. He's going to be taking into a Twilight Council behind this. And now he does expand, but this is such a late expansion. Cyan, he's so far ahead here in the economy. As TeebuL, he's going into DTs. I mean, we have to. We have to do something crazy. We have to do something wild to come back in this game. Dark Templar, that's the way to do it. As TeebuL attempts to go into the main base, but there are Stalkers in position as well. A good defensive line here from Cyan. He will take his own goal. This is a very fast third base out of Cyan. Very risky maneuver. And I'm a little bit concerned because where's our detection? We had an Oracle, but we lost it. We do have a Stargate, so we have access to Oracles. That is true. But at the moment, Cyan is in the dark, and he doesn't know what is coming his way. He has no idea about the eventual DTs. But he throws out a Robo. Robo is on the way. Expansion has been spotted. Cyan, he confirms that, of course, his opponent is trying to expand. Does not have enough vision to actually spot the Dark Shrine. And TeebuL is going for a proxy. Gateway is thrown down. 3 gates in total. This is to warp in DTs across the map. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Count's looking decent here to try to punish the economy. Does see the Robo. But one Phoenix goes down. Another taking a lot of hits. Dark Templar, they are morphed in. But there's that Observer in production. And the DTs, they don't want the gold. They want to go straight for some economic damage. They try to push into the natural, but we have a full wall off. Zealot's on hold position. DTs are revealed. Overcharge keeps the shield battery alive. And the Observer pops out. Oof. DTs will go down. We have another DT here at the gold base, but we should eventually shut this down as well. And TeebuL, he's going for his own gold. He has to. The problem is that this gold isn't to get ahead. This is to keep up. As Cyan is already main-arding over and taking his own gold. Immortals are on the way. Stalkers as well. Cyan, he's already got Blink. He's working towards Charge. Oh, wait, sorry. Cyan already has Blink. TeebuL is working towards Charge instead, skipping Blink entirely. He's staying on a low gas count as well, and with these gold minerals, he can get into quite a number of Zealots. Blink on the way for the DTs. Archon, so Charge or Archon going to be the composition of choice here for TeebuL, but Cyan is pushing out. The Phoenixes, they are getting damage done. They're going to get even more probes here at the goal base, but Cyan, he doesn't care. He's sending everything across the map. He's got a Void Ray, got an Immortal. No shield battery. No shield battery back at home. There is a DT, but we have detection. And GG is going to get called. And Cyan will take the series 2-0, taking down